From 2003, Guster, Amsterdam, the Keep It Together album. I'll be performing Friday night in the West Loop. Welcome back to the Rock and Roll Radio program here on AM 1420 WIMS. We've been talking about the world's largest block party all afternoon here, and we do have a guest in studio, a band who's performing at the block party, Vintage Blue. Dare I say, Ben Bassett, that this is becoming kind of a tradition. This is 2 years in a row.
2 years in a row on the show, 3 years in a row for the world's largest block party. So yeah, I think you can call it that.
All right. Well, Ben Bassett of Vintage Blue, welcome. Thanks for joining us here again on the Rock and Roll Radio program. Which night are you guys playing?
We're on Saturday night. The headliners Saturday night are the Mowglis, who I'm not sure if you're familiar with, and also Third Eye Blind.
Okay.
And we're playing on the South Stage, which, tends to be kind of all over the place. Sometimes they have the Mikes and Joes of the world, or sometimes they'll have original bands like us, and we just kind of have fun and play all sorts of random stuff. Maybe even some Katy Perry debuted on Saturday night. Just saying. Okay. Just trying to tease. They call it a tease in the business. They call it a tease.
Yeah, we'll have to take a commercial break now and then come back, and we'll talk about whether you actually are performing Katy Perry.
Yeah, I can't tell you.
Well, we'll talk more about the world's largest block party, but you guys have a new album out. Let's talk about that.
Sure.
Album fairly recently released.
Yep, in May.
Okay.
Well, a single. The first time we've done a single, like a single as a band. So, like actually did a radio campaign for like AAA station commercial radio, and made it. We debuted ahead of the Black Keys, so we were like, we've made it.
Yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
So now we all are driving Hummers and clubbing baby seals and cool stuff like that. So that's what we do.
You guys have become what Lord sings about is all that's wrong with the music industry.
Wait, what? No, but it was cool. It was a different experience, and it's cool to see your name up with a lot of big artists, and so that was fun. And a couple months at least, the single was being played 50, 60, 70 times across the country.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's good enough to get you on the charts, man.
That's progress.
Yeah, and we were just really happy with how the whole EP turned out. It's called No Going Back. It was produced by our same producer from Strike the Mics, Jamie Candiloro. 6 songs. What we decided to do this time was we've been writing ever since the old record, but we really just wanted the best of the best. There are songs on the old record we just don't play anymore because they just weren't as good, or we don't like them live as much, or
all killer, no filler, as they say.
Yeah.
Okay.
Basically, and actually, it's funny you say killer because there was a lot of Killers type influence for me. I told Jamie I want a little more synth, but not the kind of synth where you're not like Passion Pit kind of synth or EDM kind of synth, but like some layers. And that's what I love about the Killers is instead of this loud guitar, you just have this swath of synth that kind of sits underneath it and gives the songs power. And I liked that. So there's a couple like that. And then there's a couple that kind of harken back to the old kind of classic rock. We still have horns, so we can't just put them in the corner and be like, good luck, guys.
We'll get back to you.
Yeah, so there's a song we wrote on the road called Carolina while we were in the Carolinas, and has some horn stuff to it. So we didn't just walk away from who we are, which we were happy about too. But it's definitely more current sound. There's a lot of current licensing people that are looking at it, which is cool for us.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, it's been a good experience for sure.
Okay, now how long did you guys actually tour in support of it? And how many cities did you hit over that time?
I guess we still are. For us, for a band that's not touring full time, you're kind of we toured the old record until we made a new one.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because generally you're going to a city you haven't been to before. If you tour 200 dates in a row, you're going to a town that's going to be somewhere near a town you've been to before. Whereas we tried to, we went to Ohio. We'll go to Michigan. Went to Indiana. We were go to Nashville. We worked on Iowa. We still have never gone to St. Louis. I've gone to St. Louis and played on my own, at my college, but just never as a band. So it's just getting that first show in a town. You have to find a band or find a venue or somebody that's just will give you a shot, especially if you're trying to do what we're doing and do Weekend Warrior, things. Everyone's like, yes, come play on a Tuesday at 4. And we're
please.
4? Who's even open at 4? So there's a little game to it, but we're finding now I got a festival in Michigan City, festival in California.
You'll be here in the area.
That's right. So, no, that's the Panacea Music and Arts Festival, it's called. It's 31st of July, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd of August.
So the weekend of Lollapalooza.
Yes, sir. If I'm going to pick a music festival, that's where I'm putting it, is up against Lollapalooza. Although, I mean, it's also cool because it's like superboat races that weekend, and that's the big draw for most people.
I was going to say, in this area, that festival is it. That's like the highlight of the summer here. For what it's worth, you are performing at. There should
peak
be
season.
people at this. Let's cross our fingers for the weather.
No, absolutely. Hey,
it's a big thing.
I'm excited about it, and we talked about this a little before the show, but Lollapalooza, you can take what you want away from it. What's that?
It's a weak lineup this year.
You know what? I'm in the business, so I don't want to be confrontational. I don't know. I might be like get fangirl sometimes about some things. You know, like so if I see a band that I really want to see, I get really excited. Like the 1975, I want to see live so badly, and I'm pretty sure they're playing while we're going to be in Michigan City. So awesome for me. And but Fitz and the Tantrums, who we love when we played with Summerfest a couple of years ago. So I've just always kind of wanted to keep supporting them, even if my money's not, however it works at Lollapalooza.
Right.
Eminem, never seen live.
Yeah.
I've also heard it's pretty awful, but you know what? He's part of my history, so I might as well give it a shot. Outkast, don't care.
See, Outkast is the one I'm excited about. Like, I'm actually excited about Outkast and Lorde. Those are the two I want to see.
Just after watching that poor bad, like when she performed at the Grammys and then they put out the unauto-tuned version, which I don't know if it's real or not. It got removed from the world immediately, so could be fake. I have no idea. That sounds like it could be legitimate.
All right, I haven't heard that.
So anyway, I don't know. Outkast I just was never into when I was young, so I just don't know now. I guess like it exists somewhere, like when I was in high school, I'm sure everyone around me was listening to it, but I was still stuck with The Doors or Nirvana.
I want to remind everybody right now that we're speaking with Ben Bassett of Vintage Blue. Mm-hmm. Catch Vintage Blue Saturday night at the world's largest block party. A lot of other great bands performing all weekend. Friday night is Guster and G Love and Special Sauce. Yep. Saturday night, Third Eye Blind and Vintage Blue.
Exactly, and the Mowglis.
And the Mowglis.
We should say the Mowglis.
Yes,
I'm from California. They're from California. Should throw them a little love.
What is your website again?
Our website is vintagebluemusic.com. It's also the name of our Facebook page. So either one, Vintage Blue Music.
There you go.
You'll get there.
And we're speaking about the new Vintage Blue album, No Going Back. Mm-hmm. So it's on Spotify if you want to stream it, but you should purchase this stuff. I'm assuming it's on iTunes?
It is on iTunes. Okay. It's on iTunes. It's on Spotify. It's on our website if you want something, like if people still buy CDs.
I was going to say, is it out in a physical form?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We did a Kickstarter for this record.
I wanted to talk to you about that because you guys had one of the more ambitious Kickstarters that I think I've ever seen. Because I remember seeing it and going, man, I don't know about this one.
Well,
you got it.
We knew what we needed, and we also were thinking in our heads, if someone has to put the last chunk on a credit card or something, we'll just eat it. We have to eat several $100s in credit card fees or whatever, but we didn't have to.
Right.
I mean, cannot say enough about the people that came out of... I mean, my first girlfriend from when I was 13 supported this Kickstarter, and I have not said a word to her since then. Let's just say a long time.
Okay.
Friends from high school I haven't talked to. I mean, just... as much as I deride the reach of Facebook, somehow all these people saw it and thought, and not just like a $5 contribution, like $100 buying our vinyl, like really getting into it. And I thought, that's cool.
Well, let's do this. Let's talk more about the Kickstarter here in a minute because I was very curious about that. Can we get you to play a song here on the Rock and Roll Radio program?
Sure.
All right. Ben Bassett, Vintage Blue. Check them out Saturday night at the world's largest block party. And we'll talk more about the Kickstarter, their new album, No Going Back, here momentarily. But Vintage Blue on the Rock and Roll Radio program.
This song's called Alone. This is the first single off the new EP. Lying awake, thoughts spinning around my head. Throw the sheets back and I sit up in my bed. I can still feel where you used to lay. All the promises you told me yesterday. But if these words were never felt, melts. I can hear you telling me to hold on, and I just want to hear your voice. And I can hear you telling me it's okay, and I just need to hear you say. Driving through the foothills, moonlit sky above. Feel the breeze run through your hair. I can still remember every word you said. What do I do without you there? What if these days have come and gone? I can't seem to move on. And I can hear you telling me it's okay, and I just want to hear your voice. And I need you here to tell me it's okay, and I just need to hear you say. Yes. Thank you.
All right, Ben Bassett from Vintage Blue. Thank you for joining us here tonight on the Rock and Roll Radio program.
Absolutely.
Saturday night at the world's largest block party. Check out Vintage Blue. Come for Third Eye Blind. Stay for Vintage Blue.
Flip it around.
Come for Vintage
Well,
Blue.
usually
Stay
that's
for Third Eye Blind.
fair
Yeah,
because
you're right.
usually we do play the late slot tonight or on that night. We are big Third Eye Blind. We're big Third Eye Blind fans. Not so much. Whatever. We'll leave it at that. You know, we kind of grew up on that
I like
stuff.
Third Eye Blind.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm stoked.
here.
We were like, there's no way. We want to go hang out backstage. We want to take advantage of our,
Because last year you guys were on at the same time as
Edward
weren't you on?
Sharp.
As Edward Sharp, yeah.
And that I'm okay with that.
It's one of the worst shows I've ever seen in my life. By the way, not last year at the block party.
Oh.
Do you remember 3 or 4 years ago Dave Matthews did the Dave Matthews Caravan thing?
Yes. Because our bassist missed one of our shows to be there, so yeah.
Okay. Well, Edward Sharp and the Magnetic Zeros were playing the first afternoon. And I'm like, this will be cool. Like, Home had just hit. I'm like, this will be cool. I'd like to go see them. We walk over there. They were all, I almost swore here as we're recording this, they were all, we'll call it train wreck drunk instead. The highlight of the set was them doing a terrible cover of Everybody Hurts by R.E.M., where they changed the words to Everybody Poops. To give you an idea of what was going on during that Edward Sharp set.
Okay. I can,
Not
all
good.
right. Yeah. That's
Not good.
Well, the thing about the block party is, like, no one's going to like not every person is going to like whoever you pick as the headliner. There's no band that you can do that
For sure.
with. There's just not. And so, the South Stage exists for people that are like, not a Third Eye Blind fan. Or I'm a Mowgli's fan, but I don't like Third Eye Blind. Or I do like Third Eye Blind, but don't like the Mowgli. So you can go somewhere else if you're not into it.
Last year I skipped Edward Sharp and stuck around for you guys, and got soaked in the process. But was
Don't do that to us. I got soaked on the way.
I know.
Yeah.
Yes. Ben did get soaked on the way here, carrying his guitar, and I felt terrible because I felt like we really should have sent a cab to get you at that point.
Yeah, for sure.
But but the highlight of that for me, by the way, was standing on stage, soaking wet. I had to set down a beer to play the cowbell during your set.
Right.
Yes, on stage.
I came through
stage.
as promised.
That was good.
And it's very difficult to convince a band to bring a dude on stage. If you have any idea how difficult that task is.
I believe you.
And you were not nearly, you had not been served enough to justify a male stage presence. Because we'll call them up if we'll call them up if they're going to embarrass themselves. We like that better. We're fine with that.
Because we did the show that afternoon, And
That's
then
right.
And then I hauled ass straight there.
Oh.
And so there was no time for intoxication this year. Well, actually, I'm working Saturday too. Like,
That's okay. And that rainstorm. I think I always think I'm endearing myself to Old St. Pat's and then find out maybe not. But we played through it.
well, we had Father Tom on the show earlier today.
Oh, nice.
And I asked him to please, say whatever prayers he needs to say, divine intervention, whatever he needs to do to keep the rain away this year.
Listen, there are, the reason I started going to Lollapalooza because I wasn't a big that kind of music festival. I like the street fest because you see the local, get some flavor. But the reason I started going was because of Dave Grohl and the rain.
Fighters. Oh yeah. I've
So
seen
I'm like,
the videos,
I'm
yes.
never gonna miss a moment like that again. I don't care where I have to go, and even if it's our band. So when it started raining at Old St. Pat's, it was insanity. There was like 100 people under an 8-foot by 8-foot, table.
Yeah.
And we just kept going.
We're really selling people on the festival right now, too.
No,
by the way.
but the good part is no one cared. Like everyone was. I mean, yeah, it was crazy, but no one left.
Well, it's the only festival I know of, as far as the street festival, where your ticket price gets you free
beer, right?
You get free beer. So everybody,
You pay for free beer.
Everybody was drunk.
Yeah.
Well, you are paying.
Yeah,
but
pay for free beer. I think that's an ad right there.
Buy your ticket weeks ahead of time so that when you get there, it's free beer.
And I do kind of. It is nice that they do it that way. I mean, I know it's an expensive ticket, but they also bring some of the biggest bands at a street fest that out of anything. And there's throwbacks, there's new guys. I mean, the Third Eye Blind and Mowgli's are a perfect example. Like someone that's a what do you call them, legacy acts, and then someone that's current right now. I know Steven would love that we call him a legacy act.
Yes, he's such an eesygoing guy. I'm sure he would. Yeah, he'd love that.
He's coming in next, right?
He's standing out in the rain as we speak.
He's gonna be in a really good mood.
But all right, so last year I killed attendance on the day you guys were playing by playing cowbell on stage. This year I'm going to kill attendance on Friday night as a quote unquote, I'm doing the air quotes, celebrity bartender.
Celebrity bartender. Nice.
So come find me and I'll give you free beer.
Friday I'm working. I'll be there. I mean, we should have mentioned this too. On Friday we're playing Summerfest.
If Father Tom and the organizers of this festival had any idea how many people I've told to come find me in the celebrity bartending line and I would give them free beer.
Oh, I didn't even hear that part. What? I'm working.
I'll give you free beer.
Well, I'm
come
working.
Find me.
I'm working.
This is like my line is gonna be like the
I
free
have to
beer
bring
line.
G-Love, his 35 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches or whatever he's going to order.
Have you seen his rider yet?
No, I have not.
That would have been great.
We find out because we get to share. So whatever the band's order in the rider, we kind of partake of as well.
Okay.
So and I do love that about Old St. Pat's. We all are like in the rectory of the church.
Right.
So it'll be like us. And then there's like a little curtain, and then Steven and Third Eye Blind will be over there.
Yeah, I can't imagine he's going to be...
He'll be on the bus.
Yeah.
But he may come down and grab food or something. Probably not.
Probably not.
But the Mowglis will be there.
His reputation precedes him. Is he still with Vanessa Carlton, out of curiosity?
No, I don't think he's with anybody who has...
He's so miserable?
I try not to disparage people... But he's earned it. He's earned it.
You could keep disparaging as many people as you want.
I know, but when you're...
Program. We encourage honesty. We've been over this.
But you never know who you're going to run into. It's
true.
And I'm literally going to run into him, so...
All right, come find me Friday night in the celebrity bartending line, and I'll give you free beer. Come back Saturday night to the world's largest block party. This is at Old St. Patrick's Church in downtown Chicago, the West Loop, Madison, and Clinton, the location there. Come back Saturday night and check out the notoriously prickly Stephen Jenkins and his band Third Eye Blind. The Mowgli's also playing, but make sure you check out Vintage Blue. They'll be on the South Stage Saturday night at the world's largest block party, and you can find them online at vintagebluemusic.com. Be sure to take a listen to their new album, No Going Back. My guest this evening, Ben Bassett, here on the Rock and Roll Radio program, AM 1420 WIMS, the talk of the South Shore until 7 o'clock. Let's get this back on track.
Yeah,
we started talking about your Kickstarter.
Oh, yeah.
And because I was impressed that you guys raised the amount of money you did. What was the final dollar figure on that Kickstarter?
$15,236. So $15,000 and about 300.
That's a hell of a Kickstarter for I don't want to say for a local band because you guys do tour and everything.
Sure.
And you have a following.
We'll call it regional.
That's an impressive number.
So the more impressive thing to us was that there was no contribution over $1,000. So
you get a lot of people.
Yeah.
Which is key.
Yeah, totally key. And the other part, it's a learning process. So we might do it a little different if we do it again. I don't know that we will. we just got into a situation where we'd put so much into the first record, and we'd put so much into traveling. And again, we just run in a situation where we'd put so much money out, and everything we'd gain from playing festivals and shows we put into playing more shows, traveling further away. So we just thought we'd seen other bands do it and seen most of them work. If they don't work money-wise, they work in the sense that everyone now knows what you're doing, and they've bought into what you're doing, and that's cool. Because people bought cool stuff. I'm gonna write a song with one of our fans, and I'm gonna teach guitar lessons. I hope he knows by now, but there was one of our fans that for a graduation present, his mom got us guitar lessons with me. He's come to a few of our shows. Very cool kid. So that's cool. It's a cool way to connect with people, and those people, they won't forget that stuff. And
that's the whole key to a successful Kickstarter at this point, because anybody can throw a Kickstarter online, but it's that ability to think outside the box and come up with some creative ways that make people go, all right, this is worth me spending this amount of money on.
Well, right. And we may have overpriced ourselves because we did put an option on there, like a do anything you want with the band.
within reason?
That was within the law. So come on. We just said within the law, we thought people would use...
Say careful here because we got the FCC too.
Decent judgment. Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, it was... I was really confident about it. I might have been the only one, but I was really confident that we could hit that number, and we did. Literally in the last hour, someone came through and basically raised their bid to put us over.
Oh, it went that close? You literally got to the last hour?
Well, most people think they end at midnight, and it goes to whenever you start it the first day. So it went to 10 a.m. Okay. I'll say it was last hour, but then we went a few hundred over because people kept going in the morning.
That's last minute, though.
Yeah, it's pretty close.
Okay.
But, that's how I feel like nowadays that's how people roll.
Pretty much.
Our fans, like, as much as we tell them advanced ticket sales are huge,
yeah.
It's like day of, they're like, dude, we need 37 tickets, bro.
Is it sold
Meanwhile,
out?
we're doing, like, sound check. What? But you also find a way. The Metro, we just did our release show at Metro.
Yes.
May 2nd,
It's a nice venue for a show like that, by the way.
It was...
It doesn't get much better than that.
It took some finagling. We met with... For people that don't know, Joe Shanahan is the owner of Metro, has been since it started. He was recently diagnosed with tongue cancer.
He was at the show I was at this past weekend. Yeah. I was surprised to see him.
And he was really great with us. And I only say that because it is public knowledge. I don't mean to put it out there, but we wish him the best. He was very, very good with us. He's been very good with tons of Chicago bands over the years, Smoking Popes and all these bands.
It's amazing. I don't think I've ever heard anyone in the radio industry or the music industry or bands, nobody has anything bad to say about that guy, which is it's amazing.
And I will say my favorite part was we had a phone call with him about we were doing the Metro versus Double Door thing, and I'm trying to convince him we've done Double Door, man. Our last show was at Double Door, man. That's me. I'm like, come on, dude. And we had done Metro. It was our first full live band show as Vintage Blue.
Okay.
And it was like a Thursday, and we did really well. But that was like 2 years ago. So he's like, I don't even know if we have that on the books. It's on someone else's name. We weren't the headliners. Okay. So it's like got lost in the sauce somewhere.
Sure.
But my favorite line was, you know what you guys need?
This ought to be good.
You need radio airplay. And I was like, hey!
Yes, I agree.
All right, here we are.
We're ready.
And I was like...
We've been on WIMS in Michigan City. Like, it didn't blow up the way we expected
Joe,
it to.
did you not catch that show? So even we had done college and community radio.
Right.
I could point to things that we had done. But yeah, everyone would love some radio.
Yeah, that's kind of the whole idea.
So I went to selling body parts. I'm actually, on stumps here today because no, I'm just kidding. But we actually we're able to do, because of the Kickstarter, we're able to do a radio campaign. We talked about it a little bit.
And and you said it was effective. You said you were on 60 or 70.
60, 70 plays a week doesn't sound like a lot, but that's more than one per state.
In a world of payola where Warner Brothers is paying to get like Lord or something on the radio, like...
Well, I said we debuted ahead of the Black Keys. Hey,
that's
what
pretty
else
good.
Do you want? But yeah, we were really happy with it. It's definitely a different experience, getting reports from someone who's, working with several people. But it's cool to see your name amongst a lot of different artists on there, and just to know that you're playing. You can call your friend in Colorado and be like, hey, we're playing on the station down the road from you, or you can call people back home. And so that was a cool thing, and it definitely is wild to think that you get one play per state per week, and you could show up in a national chart. That tells you the pale. It tells you, even though it doesn't exist anymore, that term.
No, that's definitely, it's been outlawed. Yeah, Alan Freed died for that sin. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, the number of how little plays are available out there.
Yeah.
That makes an impact. So we were happy to get it done. We were happy that there was that kind of exposure, and we were excited about the record. We still are. This summer is all about just seeing more people. Our first legitimate out of state festivals. The one here in Michigan City, the one Summerfest in Milwaukee, and then we have another one in Kalamazoo, a Rib Fest in Kalamazoo. So pretty exciting stuff. And that's what I was saying. It's almost become easier for us to play festivals because we have so many here that people out of state go, oh well, that must be good for them.
Are we going to hit a point where there's too many festivals?
Come on.
Because every
you
summer
just
there's
asked,
more.
are people ever going to be upset that they drink beer and have ribs? I mean, that's basically what you just asked, or funnel cake,
true.
whatever is your. So the answer is
No.
No.
All right.
No.
Ben Bassett, 3 years in a row. Can't thank you enough for joining me here on the Rock and Roll Radio program. VintageBlueMusic.com. Look up Vintage Blue Music on Facebook. Find the new album, No Going Back. It's on Spotify if you want to stream it, but you should buy it, and you can do that on iTunes. I imagine you guys are selling it through your website.
We are. What I tell people is go listen to them on Spotify. Find one you like. If you don't want to buy, but I think you'll like them all.
Yes,
but find one you like, and you pay $1 and you'll support us. That helps all of us. So that way you check out the whole record and give some support.
Alone, the track you heard Ben perform on this program here minutes ago. Shortly, we're going to play a track from the album. No Going Back is the track we're going to play. But you guys have dates coming up, so people should go check you out live.
Yes.
Saturday night, world's largest block party.
Before that, Friday afternoon at Summerfest. So this Friday afternoon, Summerfest. Saturday night at world's largest block party, which is, I love the festival. I really do think, because of the people, because of our connection to it, we volunteer there every year as well. It's just a great festival.
Be glad I'm not celebrity bartending
on our night.
On the night you're there.
That's what he needs. Everyone slogging to stage from you serving them or something.
There's no mention of free beer. We're done with that. That's why
I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
Off the table now.
And then a lot of stuff. The stuff that's kind of still on the table. We may be doing Uptown Windy City Rib Fest in July 6th. End of July, we definitely will be doing Taste of Lincoln Avenue. Okay. It's a festival I've wanted to play forever. Another one, I used to live there, so it was the first music festival I went to when I moved to Chicago. So it's one I've wanted for a long time. Our band started a long time ago playing Lily's and Wise Fool's Pub and places like that around Chicago, so they're all right there. So I'm excited. Anyway.
You and I could gab all night.
Yeah, probably.
You got the gift, my friend.
So anyway, a bunch of shows coming up, but most definitely the two this weekend are huge. So.
And for people in the region here, make sure you check them out at the Panacea Music and Arts Festival.
Right.
That's,
Michigan City. It'll be August 2nd. I believe we're at 3:30 or 4. I can't remember, but it's Panacea Music and Arts Festival. It's during the super cool boat show that happens that week, or races that happen that weekend. I believe this is the first year, and there are a lot of great bands already that I've seen on there, both local and some big national headliners that they have yet to announce as well. So I know it'll be big. The organizers have been great, so we're looking forward to that.
All right, VintageBlueMusic.com is where you can find all the dates we just talked about. Ben, thank you for joining me here tonight on the program. We continue now with new music. It's No Going Back from Vintage Blue here on the Rock and Roll Radio program.
It's coming from my head, this borrowed time. Maybe 'cause I'm racing towards the shore. There's something bright and wild with you when you're wanting it more. The colors got to walk that line. We'll know each other when we cross that line. No going back to our old ways. Our old ways. Rain pours down and you're in bloom. Now our future's catching up too soon. From these mending scars we'll be renewed. We've got to walk that line. We'll know each other when we cross that line. No going back to our old ways. Our old ways. We got to walk that line. We'll know each other when we cross that line.